So today we're going to be looking at some traps that can prevent you from achieving your goals. Okay. Now, I'll begin by asking a question. How many of you here can predict your 2025? How many of you can predict how next year will be? Okay, let me ask it in another way. Is it possible to predict the future? Is it possible to predict the future? Okay, if it is possible to predict the future, how many of you can predict how 2025 will go for you? Yeah. And another question is, if you cannot predict the future, of which no human being can actually accurately predict the future, you can have a glimpse of how the future will be like if you have the capacity to see into the future. You know, there are seers. Are you aware there are seers? There are seers, there are feelers. Many prophets are seers, many are feelers. In other words, they can feel what will happen, and it will happen exactly. Some can see what will happen, and it will happen exactly. So if you are not a feeler or a seer or a sensor, you may not be able to predict the future. But what can best happen is that you can kind of assume the future. You can guess how the future will be like because of some of the permutations. Okay? But it's possible you may not be able to predict the future, but you can create the future. Are you getting now? And that's the area we are coming from. Because we don't want to leave anything to chance in the coming year. We have done too many things by chance. We have done too many things hoping that things will get better. It's time to stop hoping. Many people suffer from what in the field of self-development is referred to as opium. How many people have heard that before? Opium. Opium is a disease. Opium means you basing all your chances on luck, hoping that things will happen, but not based on your own structure or permutation, not based on your own design, based on somebody else's failure or somebody else's success. If I say what I want to say now, you understand. Many years ago, I used to love football, but I got tired of football because of super egos. Because many a time, you will be hearing, we are waiting for Angola to not succeed so that we can qualify. You had your chance to qualify. You didn't qualify. So now you are now you are letting all of us now begin to have heart palpitation, hoping that Ghana will fail or lose so that we can qualify. I refuse to let my result be based on other people's success or failure when I can decide exactly how my result wants to go. Now write this down. To reach your potential, you must grow. And to grow, you must be highly intentional about it. That's a very big thought. To reach your potential, which already exists now in the field, you must do what? You must grow. And to grow, you must be highly intentional about it. So everybody say, growth is an intentional act.
Growth is an intentional act.
Say like you mean it, growth is an intentional act.
Growth is an intentional act.
To reach my potential, I must grow.
To reach my potential, I must grow.
And to grow, I must be intentional about it.
And to grow, I must be intentional about it.
Write something else down. You cannot change your life until you change something you do every day. In other words, you cannot grow and reach your potential until you do what? Change something you do every day. We already have said and taught you about the process of changing your being. We said your thoughts lead to your choices. Your choices lead to your behavior. Your behavior leads to your experiences, which eventually leads to your feelings, which goes back to your thoughts again. That if you keep thinking the same way you have been thinking, which is already your personality, your state of being is defined by how you think, by how you act, and by how you feel. So if you keep doing the same thing you have been doing in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, if you repeat the same thing in 2025, no miracle will make you get a different result. Albert Einstein said that insanity is what now? Doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So that is not the insanity we're talking about in the beginning. If you keep doing the same thing, keep thinking the same way you'll be thinking and expecting a different result, no amount of hands laying on you will produce the result you want. Okay? So to grow, which is a matter of intentionality, you must be willing to change something you do every day. So how many of you are willing to change at least one or two or three things you have been doing? And trust me, it's going to be very painful. I hope you know that. It's painful to change because your brain always wants you in comfort. Your brain always wants you to be okay and nice. So when you now decide to change your behavior or change your habit, your brain will say, no, we are not used to this. And because you are not used to it, you now start having those small voices in your head. We'll do it tomorrow. It's not time for it yet. I don't have the opportunity yet. MQT is very low now, so I don't want to do it. You know, different thoughts will start coming to your head. What if I do it now, it fails? What if I do it now, they get angry? What if, that's what we're talking about today. The what if usually pops up in your head when you decide to take a giant stride to change. Take note, what if never comes to your mind if you are living the suburban life. Just enjoying yourself, watching home video, watching Z-World, just sleeping, I will do it, don't worry. What if never comes? Is when you decide to change that what if comes. So you cannot change your life until you change something you do every day. Another thought I want to write down: people are anxious to improve their circumstances, just like we are all anxious to live a better life in the year ahead. People are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they are unwilling to improve themselves. They therefore remain bound. People are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they are always unwilling to improve what? Themselves. So you find that we deceive ourselves when we want to change our circumstances. We want life to be better for us. We want to live a more beautiful and successful life. We want to move, but we are unwilling to what? To change. That's the biggest deception that anybody can partake in. So one of the things also you want to tell yourself, just like you have made up your mind to change, you have made up your mind to grow, you must make up your mind to also do what now? To do what? To improve yourself. Growth, we said, is an intentional act, right? And that intention is in self-improvement. Nothing changes until you change. I hope you have heard that before. Yes. So you want to change something, forget about changing Rex. It will not work. You want to change something, forget about Nigeria changing. It will not work. At least you are old enough now to know that your formula does not work. Things never get better in the economy. You must grow bigger than the economy for your life to get better than the economy. Policies that are made by man can be changed any day. So if you base your decision of change, of a better life, on the policies that's being made by another man, especially men in government, whose belly is their source of inspiration, sorry for you, it will never happen the way you wish it. It will always be according to what they want. I saw a cartoon. It's a kind of what they call it, a graffiti or something, where a lion was standing among sheep, and he was campaigning. When I am elected president, I will not eat flesh again. A lion standing before sheep and promising them, if you elect me to be president, I will not eat flesh. Okay, now your bone and blood, now you will first chop when he becomes president. Okay, so men's policy will never favor you. If you do not change your life, nothing about you will change. So stop waiting for the person you want to become and start being the person you want to be. Stop waiting for things to fall into place. Stop waiting for Buhari to give way so that Obi will enter. If Buhari leaves, it's a Tinubu that usually enters. It's not an Obi. You know how many people plan their lives and we're just hoping, okay, once Buhari just leaves, things will just start getting better. Trust me, in the system of the world, when a Buhari leaves, it is usually a Tinubu that enters. It is not your Obi that enters. So what happens to you now if your Obi did not enter? It means you have to wait another 8 years to be hoping that somebody like your Obi will come. Before you are through hoping, you now have white beards in your nose. You have grown old and life has left you. So now, let's look at the 8 mistakes. Yeah. The 8 mistakes now, very quickly. I'm not explaining, I'll just drop them to you. You know, it's usually the introduction of something is what usually takes time. Building the foundation is usually the problem. But I'm sure we've been able to build the right foundation, right? Yes. Building the right foundation that your growth is your own intentions. Your change is your own doing. And that growth does not come by time. It comes the day you decide to grow. The first mistake that people often make that stops them from growing is the assumption mistake. The assumption trap. You said 8 traps, 8 mistakes. And what is that assumption? I will automatically what? Grow. People usually assume they will automatically grow because prophecies have been laid on you in church. You will move forward. You will be rich and prosperous. Amen. When you were born, prophetic words were given. Amen. Nothing wrong about that. Or you attended a very decent primary school, secondary school, and university. You know, a lot of people's lives have been whacked because they thought because they attended the right kind of school and they had great results. The Culturescape programmed us to think that if you go to a good school like Harvard and get good grades, automatically your life will become great. And that trap now makes those who do not go to good schools like Harvard, who do not get good grades, automatically think that their lives will not amount to anything. But the reverse is usually the case for those who understand that growth does not come by all of those programmings. Growth comes by your own intention. So the trap of assumption that I will automatically grow, you have to come out of that trap. And another way where we fell into that trap is because as little children, we just naturally grew. For example, this beautiful girl now, there was one time she was 1 month old, right? You didn't do anything to contribute to her growth. She's just growing. We all grew to become adults. But did you take note that there's a time you got to as an adult, you didn't grow more than that? Yes, because you have come to that full maturity. In the same way, we inadvertently think that we will grow mentally and spiritually just like that. No, it will not happen just like that because we grew physically just like that. Your growth has to be intentional. Okay? So now, the next assumption now is the knowledge trap. The next trap, sorry, not assumption, the next trap. The first trap is the what? The assumption trap. You cannot assume that things will just happen for you in 2025. You must have to sit in the driver's seat of your life and drive it yourself. You cannot put the remote, I've always used that as an example. You cannot put the remote of your life in the hand of Mrs. Egbele because you guys are childhood friends. That's when you will know how human beings are very dangerous. Are you getting what I'm saying? She's my friend, she will not do anything to me. You now put the remote of your life or the pen of your life in your hands, you will see a different result. You must drive your own life yourself. The knowledge trap, I don't know how to grow. This is always one big trap that people, I don't know how. This is the story you have been saying since. Do it for me. You know that's the do it for me syndrome now. Do it for me. Everything about your life is somebody doing it for you because you think you don't know how. If you didn't know how 6 months ago, that could have been permitted. But after 6 months, you still do not know how. Life will not take that from you. Okay? Life will not take that from you. People do not usually grow like that, like we have mentioned. There are two ways to grow. Either you are growing by pain or you are growing by insight. Growing by pain in Japanese is called tensho. You grow by pain, tensho, where they have charged you to grow. Everybody has advised you. Everybody has talked to you. Do it like this. You remain the way you are until life happens to you. Now you are facing life and death situation. One of the guys that works for me is a panel beater. He smokes Indian hemp and he drinks a lot of alcohol. When you tell him not to smoke, he will say, if we don't smoke this thing, we can't do your work. Do you want me to do your work? Well, he will say yes. He say, until we smoke it, we can't do your work. And you know it can be justified. There is some sense in it. Because once they now smoke the thing, it's as if all the inspiration to do the work well now comes. Because you want your work to go on well, you will leave them to smoke. Until he now had a medical condition. He was taken to the hospital and they needed to do some surgery on him. The surgery was not working. The doctor said too much Indian hemp in his system is making the thing not work. So his life was now hanging by a thread between life and death. If you give him 1 million naira now, give him Igbo, he will tell you, bros, go with your Igbo, I will not smoke. Because he managed to escape. Pain now taught him that smoking is dangerous for your health. So what you will not learn by insight, you will usually learn by pain. If you refuse to grow by insight, you will grow by pain. The question, like Dr. Joe Dispenza will always ask, why do you have to wait till pain comes before you decide to change? When you can change in joy, change in an environment like this, where you hear and just change. The next trap is the timing trap. Very quickly now. The timing trap is usually, it's not the what, it's not the right time. Come and invest in KC, it's not the what, the right time. Go and study to become, it's not the right time. I will do it tomorrow. And by that, you allow the law of diminishing intent to affect you. What that means is that the longer you wait to do tomorrow what you should do now, the more it is that you will not do that thing again. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. It's called the law of diminishing intent. Where what you should have done today, you keep postponing till tomorrow. The tendency for you not to ever do it is very high. So your chances of becoming the best tomorrow, 2025, you must start that process now. If you move it to tomorrow, you will not get it done. The next trap is the mistake trap. I don't want to make mistake. Play with money, play with money. I don't want to what? Make mistake. If I make mistake with this $10, I know how much $10 is in the market now. Because of that, you will refuse to learn. You will always go to that position where assumption, do it for me, do it for me, do it for me. Until you come to the point where life now makes you stand before your Goliath face to face. You know you always come to that point where your brother, your sister, your tutor, your cousin will not be there. It's now between you and the Goliath. It's either the Goliath takes off your head or you take off Goliath's head. So the thing that will stand for you in that moment of decision is how much you have made mistakes in the past and learned by your mistake. Many of us are too afraid to fail, and we have preached this thing again and again. Do not be afraid to fail. Start making the baby steps. Start falling. Start falling. The more you fail, the better your life becomes. The next trap is the perfection trap. And that one is the cousin of the mistake trap. You are waiting till you get perfect before you take the first step. Go and start what God has asked you to do. You are, okay, now we have taken you from the place of mistake. You are now willing to make mistake, but you don't want to make the kind of mistake that will make you look foolish. So you are trying to always perfect it. Perfect it so I don't look foolish in the eyes of people. The perfection trap. You must avoid it in the next year. Make the mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. In fact, most of the people who are very rich and successful today, go and check how they started. They never started perfect. I heard the story of Phil Hallmark, that the Hallmark you see today, who is a multi-millionaire, he started from Ring Road, selling biscuits and sweets. I don't know how true it is. Is that true? Sakomba Road, yes. Hallmark that you see today, the same person who started selling sweets and biscuits, he already has drafted his future and was not afraid to fail to start. In fact, the biggest risk of failure is failing to take the risk. Did you hear what I said? The biggest risk of failure is failing to take the risk. So you must not let that trap hold you in 2025. You must be willing to take the risk, and you must be willing to excuse yourself from the trap of perfection. Now, the next trap, very quickly now, is the inspiration trap. You know, Mr. Nosa, go and do what you say you want to do. I don't have the inspiration yet. You are waiting for inspiration to jump on you like a lightning bolt from heaven. I'm not in the mood, you know. I'm not in the mood yet. I'm not inspired yet. Those who succeed don't wait for inspiration. In the process of taking action, the inspiration comes. I'm not just in the mood. I'm not in the mood. 1 year will pass. I don't have the inspiration yet. 1 year will pass. Don't let that trap hold you in 2025. I don't feel like doing it now. The next, which is the 7th one now, is the comparison trap. Comparison trap. Always comparing yourself with somebody else. Oh, that guy did 50,000 KAC. Because you did 5,000 or even 1,000, or because your capacity is to do 1,000, you refuse to do. Because how can Rex do 50,000? Rex that me I saw growing up yesterday, or Rex that is a small boy. You know, it is you that know small boys. It is you that know small boys. So Rex will now do 50,000. Me, I will now do only 1,000. I will better not just do. Who are you doing? Is it me? You are doing yourself. The Bible says they that compare themselves among themselves, they are what? They are not wise. So you must excuse yourself from the comparison trap in the following year. And funny enough, like I got to learn, you can only learn if others are ahead of you. The people you are comparing yourself with, the truth of the matter is, if somebody is not greater than you will not have the opportunity to learn. So stop feeling that somebody has passed you. Let them pass you. Their passing you gives you opportunity to learn. So many people don't take action because they are looking at those who have passed them and comparing themselves with others. You must avoid that trap. The last one is the expectation trap. The expectation. And that trap is usually, I thought it would be easier than this. You people told us about get fit mining, and we now rush into it. We thought it will be easier than this. Nothing good ever comes what? Easy. Anything that will be great always is difficult at the beginning. Always is tough. Anything that will go up must start from down. You take the experiment now. If you want to stand up from your chair, everybody stand up from your chair. Did you just go up? To stand up from your chair, you have to first go down. So anything that will go up must come down. Jesus said, except a wheat of corn falls and dies. So that your idea must fall and die for it to grow and sprout. If you are not willing for it to fall and die, you will remain the way you are. You will never be able to grow. So successful people are not lucky. They don't wish things are easy and things just become easy. they created their own luck. Dr. Michael Beckwith, he said there is nothing like luck. Say that person is just lucky. Like we have mentioned now, successful people don't get lucky, they create their luck. He now define what luck is. He said luck is living under cosmic knowledge. Luck is what? Living under cosmic knowledge. So when you know what you know that you applied will create your own luck. Living under cosmic knowledge. Like Bishop Oyedepo once said, he said people kept saying that he is a very lucky man. Then he now said to them, I work 18 hours a day. How lucky I am. I read every day. I write every day. At my age, how lucky I am. So the people you call lucky, they know the work they put into their thing. So great people don't get lucky, they create their own luck. So in summary, if you will do everything possible to avoid this trap coming on you, or you being locked in this trap, you'll be able to create the kind of potentials that you desire for 2025. It's not magic. Nobody who succeeds uses magic to succeed. In fact, anything you do with magic will always come back to where it started from. Magic does not last. It's principles, that eventually last. Have you learned something today?
Yes, sir.